Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another great episode of Basscast Radio. I am your host, Brian Carter. And as always, my co-host, Hank the Bass Geek. What is happening, brother? Welcome back. Welcome back. You know, it seems like we haven't seen each other in a long time, even though it's just been a week.
Well,
it's been busy already.
That makes me feel good that
Yes.
at least you missed me like that. But
I did.
Yeah, I don't even. Why was I not here last week? What happened? Was I filming? Was I?
No, you were
what
here
happened?
last week. It was Maddie
Oh,
Wong
was I?
last week.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Yes, it was Maddie. It was the weeks before.
Oh,
that
I thought you were saying. See, look there. I've been
No,
that
I'm just
busy
saying. I'm just
that
saying.
I
Like,
can't even remember if I was here or not.
well, that's it
What
here
the-
as well. Because I mean, it's like Danielle came home, life sped up a little bit, a lot of stuff's going on. We went out of town, did some stuff for her for a change instead of for me, which is usually is. So for her for a change, which is pretty freaking awesome for that. But what has been happening with you, brother? And then I'll dive in a little bit here. What's going on?
Well, that is that says it all. I've been so busy that I couldn't remember if I was here or not last week on the Basscast. So, just a lot of stuff, man. Trying to film, trying to get caught back up. We got a little bit behind in August. Because I actually took a vacay. So, we went down to Hilton Head, and that kind of got me behind in the videos. But, we're filming. Actually took today off. I was just like, I'm super tired because I hosted a charity event tournament.
Yeah, how'd that go, man?
Celeb. It went pretty good. There was some growing pains to it. First time that the organizers had ever done it. It was to benefit tinnitus, which is a debilitating ringing in the ear. One of the biggest problems our service members report after coming back
Right.
from active duty. And so it was really cool. Got to hang out with some country music stars, got to hang out with some pro anglers, got to really hang out with our boy,
John
the
Cruz.
Missile Man, John Cruz.
Yeah, I saw the photos of Cruz, man. Cruz had some of the boys from what is that? The duck call. What is it?
Yeah, he had the Mountain Man.
Mountain Man,
was
that's
there.
it.
Yeah, I actually took that picture of him. He come over and I was talking to him, and so he's like, "Hey, take a picture for me." I was like, "I have to charge you. I have to charge him $25." So, for camera work, but
Yeah, it was some of the guys from Duck Dynasty. There it is.
Yeah,
Since they took it off the air, you kind of forget because it used to be in your face all the time. But I still watch the old episodes. They're funny as crap.
Yeah.
Size hilarious.
So it was pretty good, and then got out and had one heck of a day on the lake yesterday, even though I didn't want to go. And then it rained on us, poured down the rain.
Yeah, we needed that here.
We did too, but man, it made for a good day, and there's
That's
a good
awesome.
video coming out. We did a little vlog video. I got to edit it and get it out for the whole. Just kind of taking the geeks along with me to show them kind of what it was like to be doing my first ever. What's his name? Fact Sufficient.
Yeah,
brain dead.
Yeah, actually,
his imitating him. Of course, I didn't use the catch line.
Okay.
Might get sued over that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So yeah, awesome, man. That's pretty freaking cool there. Guys, he was talking about that. Today's Gene Jensen's birthday.
Oh, well, I did not know that.
Yes, today's Gene. So happy birthday. Well, we're going to be a day late because we're uploading in the morning. So yesterday was Gene Jensen's birthday, but happy birthday to him. I wish him happy birthday. And I need to do it by phone tonight here in a few minutes. But awesome guy. Here at the basscast.com, it has been kind of quiet. We're still pumping out the content. Last week we did a 4-part series on spinner baits. And this week we're doing a 4-part series on swim baits because we're getting here towards the end of the tournament season. Well, towards the pro tournament season. But the local stuff's picking up. We're going to be on the road all weekend this weekend. We're going to Claytor Lake for the 94.9 Star Country event. Excuse me. And then we're traveling back down to Bugs Island, and we're going down there on Sunday for the Bass Nation of Virginia and wrap up that event. So look forward to putting all that up on the basscast.com for you guys to check it out. So that's what we're doing here. And then I know next weekend, the Potomac, that's the last Toyota Series Northern event. And then after that, I think it's the end of the month, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so it's the end of the month, and then it's the Big Bass Tour. That's right, the 3-day Big Bass Tour right here on beautiful Smith Mountain Lake, where 900 freaking boats will be trying to cash checks.
Yep.
So if you ain't fishing, stay off the lake.
How clear is Clater Lake?
Not really clear.
Oh, okay.
So that's the plan.
Sorry to just random ask there.
You know what? I've never been on the lake. I've been to the lake. I've walked out to the lake. I've looked at it, but I've never been on the lake because I'm usually up there for an event and it's back home. So it's something where I think someone did tell me at work today it's 4,400 acres. So it's about 1,000 acres bigger, larger than Leesville Lake.
It's not far. And I know there's some guys that watch my channel from up there. And I know they come down and fish like one of my home lakes, South Holston. And that's a lake that they've actually been begging me to come up there and fish. And, you know, I've never done it. And that's one of the lakes I've kind of got on my little hit list.
Well, they used to have the Star Country event a different time of the year. It's a little bit warmer. I'm crossing my fingers that we hit it at the right time because it's a lake. If you hit it at the right time, you see some good looking fish. You hit it at the wrong time, a lot of what we call 2-pounders. Pounders.
I'm wondering if my little open water pattern won't work up there.
Well, I heard they still have some entries left for this 94.9. I think the winner takes home $5,000. I want to say, or $10,000, something like it. So it's a great payout for the overall winner. Then it drops after that. But so it's going to be a great event. It's always good to hang out with the boys from 94.9 Star Country. It's Boomer. I can't remember which one it is. One of them quit. Retired, moved on. And so I think it's Brett. That's who we have with us. But so good to hang out with them and then the Bass Nation guys. And that's pretty much where the basscast.com will be for the rest of the month. If, like I said earlier, if you guys are liking the 4-part series we're doing where we, give you a little overview about the bait and then dive deeper into the bait. And guys, these are, I know some of you guys are like, oh, no, that I already know how to do it. This is for like new beginners. We still got to teach people how to fish. And if you're not willing to take a young kid out fishing, I'm not saying no, some don't have the time. Some do have the time. Share it with some other kids, what I'm saying? Share it to someone new that is interested in learning more about bass fishing and breaking down the tackle that they need to be using. Yeah. And then if you guys want to be really cool about it, maybe put them a little care package together. Send it to a kid or something like that.
Well, it's the whole reason why I started, I started fishing anyway, or started, the YouTube channel was because, I didn't have anybody that tournament fished or didn't even know anybody. And, so, for me, I just went out and, the pros don't talk about, I fish Highlands reservoirs. I mean, they're, steep, deep. You've heard me say it 100 times. You'd hear somebody talk about winter fishing and they'd talk about fishing 45-degree banks. And I'm like, do you mean not the 90-degree banks? Because that's all I got on my lakes. And, there's no such thing as a flat on the lakes that I fish. I mean, unless you're talking about the back of a pocket, and then, that's about a boat length, 20 foot, it's flat. And that's still 10 feet deep at the back of the boat, and it's 5 feet deep at the front, right before you beach it. But, and so you gotta, man, that, and listen, I get it, man. A lot of tournament anglers, they don't like to share things, but somebody's got to if we want to grow the sport. Somebody's got to talk
100%. Yes, I love that. And that's 100% right. Somebody is going to have to, I know a couple different young guys that, I've been part of Angler's Choice, and it's Troy Carter, Randy Carter, and all of them been a part for years, kind of family. we're not related, by the way, even though they're both from Bassett. My dad's from Martinsville, Bassett as well, but we're not related that I know of. And, his son teamed up with another angler. And, sometimes you're lucky and that will happen. And you can get lucky and find somebody and team up. And, usually the parents end up putting out the entry fee or something like that for your son to learn to become a better angler. But like you said, I mean, if, the elites share a little bit, most time, some good
and
stories.
They didn't used to. You used to have to pry it out of their cold, dead hands.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, somebody's got to share the word to spread the word to get the sport to grow. We all had that big growth during COVID. It got big. Everybody want to be a bass fisher, man or woman, angler. And then, the world opened back up. 2% probably stayed, and the other 99 or 98 have left.
Yeah.
But we got to train
definitely seen the COVID bubble.
But we've got to train the 2% and hopefully bring them up, and they will become, anglers, fish tournaments, and, maybe add a little bit of chump change to some of these daggone tournaments you're fishing so the pot be a little bit bigger. You guys got to remember that too. I mean, if I don't tell anybody to train anybody behind me, and I show up in but it was a 150 boat series and 50 people passed away and 25 retired, and you didn't tell nobody else, entry fee gets cut in half a little bit, probably more than half, to be honest. So,
well, every serious tournament's got to have its donators.
Hey, it's in NASCAR. It's in every sport you can think of. Tennis,
That's
golf,
right.
Anything that you pay to play has its donators. Poker, racquetball, tennis, golf, you name it, and bass fishing. All right, guys, tonight, before we get started, let's do this real quick. Sponsors. Hey, guys, Conrad Brothers will be there this weekend. Claytor Lake, they still have their store. I think their store is still open there. Check it out. Lynchburg Arms and Indoor Shooting Range. Angler's Choice Marine. I got the shirt on tonight. As Bass Geek was talking about, Missile Baits. And SML Tackle Shack. They've been gracious enough to give us a gift card to our bubble anglers. So thank you to them. Please check them out. They got everything that you need to go fish Smith Mountain Lake. All right, guys, tonight, Mr. Joey Cifuentes is going to be on with us, the Bassmaster Elite 2023 Angler of the Year. Mr. Joey Cifuentes, everybody, what is happening, brother? Thank you for taking the time out and talk with the Basscast Radio tonight. Congratulations on 2023 Angler of the Year. What an accomplishment that was for you. And to be honest, it's more accomplished. 2 victories in the season. If I look back, you only had 1 event. You didn't cash a check. I mean, it should have been when you had a GoPro on a boat and documented for family and friends later down the road. I hope you documented a little bit of it other than what Bass did.
Yeah, it was a good season. It was actually Rookie of the Year, by the way.
I'm sorry. Rookie of the Year.
I know what you meant.
I don't know why I have that in my head.
Kyle Welcher, he claimed that victory there,
yes.
and it was well deserved. But yeah, no, it was a good season, man. Unbelievable, actually. I can't believe I pulled off. Not only, I felt like I was kind of at the point in my career where I could get a win. I was confident, and I had a lot of confidence in the lakes we were going to. But to get to, unbelievable. And then Rookie of the Year, that was a grind. I know we're going to talk about it more, but it was absolute grind. But we got it done.
And then to do it right, you did it. Was it back to back? You did it?
Mm-mm.
No.
I was thinking you did it back to back for some reason. I couldn't remember if was.
It was Lake Seminole, and then it was later, and then it was Lake St. Clair.
Yeah.
2 very different lakes too.
Yep.
Well, let's jump into this world championship that you just came from this past week.
Oh.
Yeah. Someone told me you gave away your hat.
I did. Yeah. There was one guy from Columbia, and it was my last tournament of the year. He asked me if he could have the hat, and I thought it would be cool for him to take it back to his country. And so yeah, we gave it away, and it was pretty cool. He was pumped, and I think I put a little video up on social media, and it was a fun event, man. Like seeing the other countries come in and the passion that they have for fishing, and some of the battles that they deal with fishing in their countries is interesting. Colombia, for one, they're trying to like ban bass fishing there. It's really crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Catch and release, like, even it's really weird. So, but it was fun. Gave the hat away, and I'll get another one for next year.
So
I got plenty of them.
So you're not super. Was this the hat that you wore all season, or are we talking about?
No, it's the hat that I won St. Clair on. But I did not wear that hat every year, just because my hats do not last through the whole season. They get rained on.
Gotcha.
I might be fishing in the wind, might blow it off my head, and it may go in the lake.
This one took a dip yesterday.
Yeah, well, those hats, like, they'll kind of stiffen up, and they're back to normal. But when you dunk one of these straw hats, like, they get real floppy, and like they just lose their shape. And so I usually run through about 2 hats, maybe 3 hats a year. This is my 3rd hat that I'm wearing right now, so I got to get a couple more for next year.
What was it like fishing with Mr. Larry Nixon?
Man, so I started. Yeah, a legend, absolutely. Me and Larry go pretty far back. I want to say 9 years. When I first started fishing, I got in the boat with him as a co-angler, and so I got to fish with him, but we never fished like a tournament together, like on a team, out of the boat. So it was a really different but cool experience. I mean, we were working together. It was just, and honestly, like, Larry, I caught most of the fish in the tournament. He caught the biggest one day 2 to get us the win, but he had the knowledge, man. Like, he said, and of course he's fished Lake Hamilton, which was here in Arkansas a lot. And I fished it a lot too, but he was like, Joey, we need to go over here and check this out. And I'm telling you, man, when we went and did that, and I was like, all right, let's go. We got on them. Like, they were blowing up right around us. And so he's got the knowledge. He does. Larry's a good friend of mine, so I can say this, but he's just, he's 70 something years old. So he doesn't have, like, the casting abilities and different things. He's had so many surgeries on his hands and his arms and his shoulders, and like, he's just lacking some of that stuff. So, but the knowledge, man, that he has is still there.
The dexterity. Yeah, no, I'll be 50 next year, and I've been fishing for just call it 30 plus years and leave it at that. And I mean, I can tell you right now, every day I go out both shoulders, both elbows. so being fishing as long and as many days as Larry's fished, golly, I couldn't even imagine. So
yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway with you and Larry, man? If there's something he taught you while you were out there.
I think really something that he's taught me throughout my entire career, and that's patience. It's so hard to do, but it's so big in bass fishing. And just, I wanted to, all the time I was like, Larry, let me run up to the bank. I'll go throw top water and see if I can get us a couple keepers. And he was like, Joey, let's just hang out right here for a little bit longer. They're going to come back up, blowing up. Most of the fish were schooling there, so we had to wait a little while, and you had to sit there and wait exactly till they blow up. There's the only way you could catch them, pretty much. And so just the patience that's why I feel like I'm doing so well now. I'm giving my areas more chance. I'm not, I'm not, earlier I had some opportunities to win a couple tournaments here in the last couple of years. And I honestly, I'm going to tell you straight up, I mentally ruined them. I freaked out. I left my areas, and I didn't give enough time and have the patience that you need. You got to know when to go, but you also need to know when to stay and to be patient. And I think that was just, definitely the number one thing that got us the win on this last tournament.
So on those fish that are blowing up, now my first question to you, and I asked this because I've kind of been on that pattern for the better part of a couple of months. So that lake you were fishing, what was the water clarity on it?
It's pretty clear. I mean, it's not, super clear, but
Like
it's pretty
ultra.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
And
clear.
so were you guys able to use live scope any at all?
Um, you could, and I utilized it some. We fished out of my boat. I definitely used it some, but I would say 95% of the fish we caught were like they had to be actively schooling to get them
Actively
to.
chasing.
Chasing,
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
they
chasing the
like
bait.
they had yeah, they had to be on top blowing up to get them to bite.
Gotcha.
Now, I did get a few bites that were, like I could see them on live scope and they were right under the surface and there was a big old wad of
Yeah.
30, 40 fish school and they were
Yeah.
swimming and I threw a cast over there and got one to react to come up and eat
Yeah.
it. But I don't think I caught but maybe 3 or 4 fish like that the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's kind of what I've been on is, there'll be about 10 foot down, 10 to 15 foot water clarity, and you just working on top water over top. It's harder to get them to bite a top water or to bite any other bait at subsurface, I think, because it's so clear they get a chance to check it out. But hey, I was just asking, so I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
Joey, you started your opens in 2019, and like I said, this year you made the jumps into the elites. What do you believe that's changed for you coming up through the opens that gave you the confidence now? I mean, I know, like you said, the lakes lined up, the events kind of lined up to help you win the ROY. But what's some of the takeaways that you learned moving up to the open series to jump into the elites?
I think it's the reason I have the confidence and I did well and I finally kind of made the elite series is I've got to be on these lakes multiple times. And I say this, I tell kids and people that want to be on the elite series and want to fish at the professional level, like, what do you need to do? You need to get in the back of the boat or you need to get in these tournaments, and it's going to take you multiple years before you learn these places and you get comfortable with them. You learn like if you go see herring lakes, that's a completely different ball game. You've got to go experience that. You need to go experience the Florida lakes. Everything really fishes different. I mean, you can catch them the ways you want, but like you need to see those different places. Right. I've been on Seminole a couple times, so the first time I there, I bombed it. Second time I made a top 10. The next time I won. Like it takes some time. So that's what I felt like through the opens. Of course, I only fished two. I fished like the Centrals in 19, and then last year, I went ahead. I think I took a year off, and then I went back and tried to qualify. But that really gives you an advantage. I mean, just being on those lakes multiple times, different times a year, and learning that stuff to do well.
We had some college kids on a few weeks ago, and we talk about that a lot and how how many college kids have come up through the ranks and have been able to do extremely well because they actually, I ain't gonna say they got paid, but they got helped. They had some financial helping, which helped allow them to travel to learn all these lakes that you're talking about doing.
Yeah. I think that's big. And that's something else I tell them, a lot of the messages I get on social media and the kids that come up to me at different things, they ask me, man, I need to get Berkeley or Strike King or fishing sponsors. And I tell them, listen, forget about that. Like the whole fit, you guys know this, but it's so saturated with people trying to get that stuff is that the fishing side of sponsorships are going to come when you're successful.
Right.
You need to focus on people in your community that yes, you can promote their business and they'll help you try and achieve your dream, try and go after your dream. And those are the folks that you really need to be going after, not fishing. Yeah, if you can get a little percentage off here and there to help you with buying some of your stuff. I know this is all expensive, but focus on fishing and getting better at fishing and learning the lakes, and then try and get some help locally to fund that and save your money. If you got to work on the side, I mean, you got to do whatever it takes to get there. So that's where you need to focus at.
Absolutely. And, going back to, what you said previously, I mean, it comes down to the simple fact of time on the water. And, I think that's why we're seeing some of the kids who are, traveling a little bit with the high school, a little bit more with the college, and, then either going through the opens or whatever. I mean, I think that's why the level of competition is just getting better and better all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many tournaments you can get in and fish, and I took the co-angler route. I mean, I progressively worked my way up, and I never went into those tournaments as a co-angler, which you could do on the opens. I wasn't trying to win them. I mean, if I did and I caught them, that's great. But my focus the whole time was getting in the boat with different people and learning the lakes.
Yes.
Because I knew eventually I hated co-angling. I did not like it. I wanted to be in control of the boat, you know? And so you have to look at the positives. You have to learn. It needs to be a good positive experience and learn. And no matter if you catch them or not. And then you just take that knowledge, write it down. I used to write notes on every lake I went to, and I had all that stuff down, and it's just the way to go. I mean, there's no doubt.
You're right. I mean, that's something, I fished the BFLs 3 years as a co and hated every second of it. But there was so much stuff that I learned, even from the guys. And, everybody thinks, well, I'm going to get a guy and he's not going to be on them. Well, more than likely 90% of the field's not going to be on them. I mean, you're not going to get the guy that's winning or catching studs every other cast in every tournament or the majority of those 5 tournaments. But you are, if you'll shut up, not be overly concerned. If your ultimate goal is to be the guy on the front of the boat, and it was for me, is to pay attention to ignore the pre-dock talk, but make friends with that guy and pay very close attention to the post-dock talk, because that's when the truth begins to come out about what everybody was doing. And you can piece together that lake a little bit on that knowledge and get to know things a little bit better. Even if your guy's not on them, you can learn. It might be what not to do, but you can
learn. One other thing I want to say too, if you're, and this was the way I was, but be 100 respectful to the person that you're in the boat with, because I'm going to tell you something. You never know what later in your career, who that person could be to you.
Exactly.
They could be somebody that you don't know that has influence, could get you in the door with a company, fishing company, sponsorships.
Yep.
And treat your pro that you're fishing with 100% respect. And I'm gonna tell you something. I was that way, and it opened so many doors for me later in my career right now. And that you have to do that, because if you're back there and you're throwing over the guy's line, or you're causing problems and you're fighting with the guy and stuff like that, it ain't gonna do you any good.
Exactly.
So, something that the kids and the people that are trying to work their way up, they need to remember.
Yeah.
I like what you just said about that. And, I bring that up to different people all the time. And they're like, for me, I'm on the business side of it, and Geek's on the fishing side of it. And, I make appearances at a lot of places. It's cost me a lot of money. But those appearances, 1 or 2 down the road, oh, this guy's for real. This guy knows what he's doing. This guy wants to be a part of this. The next thing I know, I got contracts and I got deals and I got sponsors, and they help paying the bills. And, it could be just showing up at, just a get together or something. I mean, just make an appearance wherever you are. Throw your little jersey on for a few minutes, as my boys at work call it, with your patches on it, and just show up and, start talking to different people. You do not know at any time who is in the crowd. Guys, I'll tell you this right now. The richest millionaires in the world usually dress like they just came off the street. Some of your richest people in the world look like they just came off the street. And that's no freaking lie. Because you know what? They don't want everybody in the world to know they got millions of dollars.
I always tell them, as a co-angler, just be courteous, learn, sit back, pay attention. If your ultimate goal is to be on the front of the boat, just make sure, just look at it like this: you're paying for your education to get out there.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
That's kind of how I do it. But like I said, I never had, and most guys that talk about having a bad boater or a bad co-angler, it tends to be them more than it's their boater or co-angler. That's what I've learned.
A fact. That's fact.
So,
well, let's dive into this 2023 season here. Joey, when the schedule come out for 2023 season, what were your thoughts, man? Lineup for you.
Okay, so well, first off, I was a little nervous because it's the Elite Series.
Yep.
I knew I had the ability to do well, but you never really know till like that first tournament. So, but when I was looking at the schedule, and this is a honest to God truth, when I looked at the schedule, I was excited about Lake Seminole. When I looked at the tournaments down south, I was like, ooh, I like Seminole. Like, I learned a lot when I was there last time. I figured out the area I need to be in. If they're set up right, I could do well. So I was excited about that. And then, of course, everything up north. I love fishing for smallmouth. I don't know why I've done well there in the past, but I like that schedule. So I was thinking if I could do well, throughout the season early, I could have a good year or whatever. But going in that first tournament at Okeechobee, I finished. I was in the top 20. I don't know if I was 16th or 17th or 14th or somewhere in there, but great start. Like I made a top 20.
You finished 19th on Okeechobee, man.
Okay, that right there, that you can't remember what you finished shows you had a great year. If you can't, most guys were like, "Man, I had a 19th on." You had a great year.
Yeah, so that first tournament, and man, I just remember like blast off and being around all those guys, the big name guys out there. It was. I was nervous. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous, and but I treated it mentally like this was just any other bass tournament. I fished a bunch. I fished FLW Tour for a little bit, about 4 or 5 years ago, and then it switched to the Tackle Warehouse thing. But like, I got to fish against some pretty big name guys before all these people, split and went different ways. So, I keep telling myself like, Joey, you fished against these guys before, like. It ain't no big deal. I mean, just do your thing, and I did pretty well, and that gave me a good confidence boost going into the rest of the season.
You're just in a different club, that's all. Same caliper, different club.
Right.
You're talking about that right there, and you had to meet new anglers and get involved. What was that like for you having to? Everybody talks about who they ride with, who they hang out with. How was that for you breaking into this thing as, someone, not saying someone they didn't know, but a new angler,
Yeah. I mean, I remember that first meeting, like when we were at Okeechobee and I walked in and everybody's sitting down at the chairs because we had like actual meeting, the first tournament of the year. And like, I have my cowboy hat on, like everybody's looking at me like, who is this goomer? Like he's in here wearing his cowboy hat, goofy, so you think about stuff like that, like, how am I going to fit in here, whatever. But I honestly I didn't pay too much attention to that. Right. But another thing was, me and Larry Nixon, he got his Legends exemption thing. So that gave me a lot of like, I wasn't kind of out there solo by myself.
Hey, I know somebody. I got a friend. I know somebody.
Yeah. So that helped out some too. And I do know, a few guys. Me and Brian knew we were co-anglers back in the day. We competed as co-anglers the same time, so we were buddies. I talked to him a little bit. So I mean, it wasn't like I was, didn't know the crew or anything, but it was a little intimidating.
But the crews welcome you. You're still an outsider though. You're not part of the group yet because you're still, you've co-anglered with other people, but now you're part of the society. What I'm saying? You're part of this group, and welcoming you to the Bassmaster Elite Series, and the fold there, and being a part of that, and then saying, "Oh crap, now I'm fishing against people that I looked up to, or I watched on TV, and all this other stuff." I don't know how old you are, Joey, but I mean, the crew now is quite young. That's all I can say. We were talking about today, and there's a lot of young kids that are tearing it up in the Elite Series, and it's changing.
Definitely.
So mentally looking at the season, you were talking about not getting spun out, and you brought that up earlier. What's some tips and techniques that you do going into your events? Do you have a ritual that you do before the event or anything of that nature to help you mentally prepare for that event?
I don't know that I have a ritual per se. That's kind of
I understand that.
Yeah, but no, I to be honest with you, I'm pretty strong in my faith and in God and everything, and so that plays a major role in how I look at tournaments, and no matter what happens, I feel I have a peace. I feel like that, and a lot of people do and share that faith with me, but I feel like that's really helped me on the mental side that no matter what the outcome, I always try and, remember, like, listen, I'm getting to fish for a living. Okay.
Right.
And I'm on the Elite Series. There's not a lot of people that get to do this. And so, you just, no matter the outcome, I'm fine with it. Obviously there's a part of me, obviously I want to do well and I want to win, compete. But at the same time, it's like if you get too worked back in, 5-10 years ago, I wasn't, I was more, worried about myself, and I would spin out on things and think, oh, I got to do this and that. And I was, had 100 different thousand things running through my brain. And now I'm just like way more calm, and I'm accepted, or I accept everything. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I have that comfort and that peace that, like, no matter what, man, I'm good. I get to go, hopefully make it back to my family. I've got a beautiful family at home. And I think when you're younger, you don't have that mindset. Like, you're thinking about all this different stuff. And some guys do well with whatever they do, but I don't know. I felt like that's been my thing that has helped me do well, where I'm at right now, this point in my life.
When you can let it go and understand that it's handled, no matter which way it goes, you fish. I've used this term a lot. You fish free. You get to, do what you do, and everything else, is taken care of.
Yeah.
But a lot of anglers, we brought that up as well. It goes away from an angler fishing for checks instead of fishing for bass. And a lot of anglers said, my goal is just to cash a check. I'll be happy as crap if I cash a check, not catch bass, but catch a check.
Yeah. So it's funny because I used to be like that. I used to, just want to make sure I get that check. And like this year, I have fished to try to win. And I think and Larry Nixon's always told me this. He's like, you do as well as you can. If it presents itself where you can win a tournament, then you go for the win. But like, I've tried to win every tournament this year. Obviously I bombed, one, and I had some tournaments I did well, but I didn't win. But like, I think that mindset that no matter what, I'm going to go for it. You can't, the thing about successful people in general is you can't be afraid to fail. Like, 100%.
Yeah.
So if I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, if you second guess yourself at all, and you think, oh, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to take this safe route, try and make a check. It hasn't worked for me in the future, or in the past. I think now where I'm at, I'm trying to win, and I'm taking those risks. Like St. Clair, nobody was out there by me, and everybody was at takeoff. But I was like, you know what, man, I'm just going to stay out there. I'm going to try and find. That last day of practice, I found those fish out there on St. Clair, and there was nobody out there. And it was. But and there wasn't a lot of bites, but the bites were so good. They were 4 and 5 pounders. So I'm like, I'm going to take a chance on this. Like, what do I got to lose? I mean, I'm going to.
All you need's 5.
Yeah, and 5. That's what I'm saying. Like 5 bites a day. If I can get
That's
5
right.
bites a day out here, I'm going to have a big bag, and I got a chance to win the tournament. And looky what happens. So
you talked about right there for a second, not being afraid to fail. A lot of people are afraid to fail, because what they'll be judged, what other people think, et cetera, et cetera. But the main thing, if you do fail, you hope you learn from it. And, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways there is that you learn something from each event, even the event you didn't cash a check in. I mean, you learn something that when I go back to that lake in next year, the year after, there's a takeaway from it. And like you said, from talking about earlier about fishing many bodies of water and having a low finish, a mid finish, and then a first place finish. Each time you learn something more and you took it away from the event, which eventually gave you the win.
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, I'm just thinking about when you said that about Murray. I really don't have a lot of experience there. I mean, like looking back. And then the one other thing I want to say is if I had to look, when I looked at the schedule, already, I'm talking about when I read Lake Murray on the schedule in my brain, I was thinking, oh no, that may be the one. And I'm serious, dead serious.
Yeah.
That may be the one where I don't do that well. And look what happened. So another aspect to that is don't do that. And if you think that, go make that feeling feel better where you have more confidence. I probably should have went down there and pre-practiced some on Murray and felt felt better about it. But
build some confidence.
Because I've heard other guys say that like if you have a bad attitude at all about the tournament and you don't feel comfortable about it, like more than likely you're not going to do good at all. So
yeah, it's a Gerald Swindle thing, a PMA, man, a positive mental attitude.
Absolutely. And love his motto.
Yes. And that's in business, life, and everything. I mean, if you don't love what you're doing, you're not going to be successful in it. I don't care what it is. If you got paper route, if you're just delivering mail, it don't matter. You will not be successful in it. So the season progressed, and when did you think in your mind, I might have this ROY? I might actually, have a chance of, I've won 2 events, and even after you winning 2 events, you still weren't safe.
No, it was a dog.
It was, to be honest, guys, it was probably, for me, I've been in this 12 years now, and it was probably the best ending to a season, period, because nobody knew who was going to win.
Yeah. I think so. When I won St. Clair, of course, people talk about like, oh, you don't look at the points or you don't want to like, no, I got, listen, guys, my whole family is texting me like, okay, Joe, you got this point lead over this guy and that guy, and you got to pull this thing out. Team, you got to go. USA's got to win. We can't let Japan win. Like, Kiyoya, Fujita.
Yeah.
And so no, but when that happened, like I was like, okay, this is a reality. Maybe I can win, Rookie of the Year. But shoot, we go to the next tournament and he, Fujita wins.
Yeah, he won it.
So yeah, and so like the day 3 going out there, I think I was in the top 20. No, I think I was in the mid 20s maybe. And I knew I had to catch a big bag to have a chance at this thing. Like I had to do well day 3 because he's leading the tournament. I think whatever. And so
I think he led the last 2 days.
Yeah, so that was big, man. That going in, but I didn't think I was going to win after St. Clair. And then after Champlain, Fujita wins. I finish 11th. I almost made the cut.
Mm-hmm.
I knew this thing was still wide open, like 100%. I had a 15-point lead going into the St. Lawrence River, which was nice. But still, think about that. Like,
that's not a lot.
I can't finish below 20. Like, because if he makes the top 10, I mean, I lose. And of course I wanted to win that like 100%, but I had confidence going into the St. Lawrence River. I mean, I felt like I could catch him there if things lined out, but after practice. We got cut down to 2 days of practice.
Yeah.
The wind blew really, really bad one day of practice. So like I only got to the lake one day, and I had no confidence. I was not feeling good going into that tournament. Like I was thinking I could catch a big bag in the river, but you know, who knows, you know? And so then as the tournament progressed, it got real close.
Yeah, because Fajita would have won it. Yeah, he'd have won it. If he'd have won the event, he would have won the ROY.
Yeah.
But he didn't win the event. So, I mean, it was that close, guys.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And he's a phenomenal angler. I mean, there's just no question about it. I see angler of the year in his future.
Oh, yes.
No doubt. But yeah, he did really well there, and it just worked out, man. When I got done with day 3 weigh-in, I had people asking me, you know, my family, everybody, and they were like, so the first person I messaged was, I think I was done in like, I can't remember where I finished at after day 3, but I was 17th maybe.
Yeah, you finished 17th overall.
Yeah, I think I finished 17th, and I called Ronnie Moore, and I said, dude, what's going to happen? Like, what needs to happen? and I had people telling me and texting me like, dude, there may be a tiebreaker. Who wins the tiebreaker? I was like, I have no idea. So I called Ronnie Moore, and he said, Joey, you won the tiebreaker. Like, if you guys tie, if he finishes whatever the place he had to finish, if you tie, you're going to win, because I had more weight, like cumulative weight over the entire season.
Yep. That's how
and then he said he had to win. And I was like, okay, I think we're probably good here. I mean, still a chance the guy can catch 29 pounds on the St. Lawrence River and win the tournament. But I'm thinking, like, you know, those other guys, he had maybe 3-4 pounds behind, I think. So that would have been pretty big. Like he would have had to, and I thought, okay, I think we probably got this thing done, but didn't know for sure.
Yeah, for you guys who didn't watch that crazy event, for some unknown reason, Patrick Walters won with 105 pounds, Chris Johnston 103, and Fajito with 102 pounds 5 ounces. Yeah,
unbelievable.
And Ito had 101. So I mean, we handed, what was it? It was not. There's no we in this, but they handed out 4 belts that day.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what an event it was. I mean, we love Patrick Walters here. We're a huge fan of his. I mean, here at the Basscast, he's been on the show many times to see him win it, and I think he himself has quite a few belts already, like 2 or 3 belts or something already.
I think it's 2.
2 event belts. So I mean, what a way to wrap up the 2023 Bassmaster Elite season. Man, if, like I said, going into the event, you know, when Polinick won it last year, and Polinick got up on the stage, she's like, I didn't want to know any of the numbers. He never looked at anything. Just like you said, he did the opposite of what you did. Do you think that kind of, you know, the mind started rolling here, and it's like, it's kind of like gambling, really. I mean, it really is, because you got to be like, I got to do this, I got to do this, and I got to do this. And if I don't do this, I lose. Instead of just being relaxed and going into it, do you think it added any extra pressure? You knowing where you're sitting, where you're at, and where it all fell. I
think Joey, everybody looked for him though, and then told him about it.
Yeah,
that's what he was saying. You know,
I don't know how Brandon Polinick got away with not knowing anything. Yeah. You know, I don't believe that for a second. I don't.
No way.
Unless he's got no friends and no family to talk to, because one of my best friends,
just Kyle.
He's on the phone constantly, just like, you know, you got this many point lead, you got to do that. And he's texting me on stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I know. But no, I had a lot. I had a lot of pressure, like without a doubt. There was some pressure there for me to do well. And if he could get that, if Polinick did that without knowing, and he was relaxed, like, yeah, that would have helped. But the cool thing about it is, if I do have an opportunity in my career to win Angler of the Year, like, I learned a lot about that pressure winning rookie of the year, because it's got to be the same thing. I mean, we're obviously I didn't win angler of the year, but it's the same deal. I'm trying to win rookie of the year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was a good experience for me to, in the future, if I get that opportunity, like, hey, I've kind of done this already. Like, I know what I need to do. I'm not going to worry about none of that stuff, and I'm just going to do my thing. So
that's awesome.
That's
a great way to wrap this show up right here, man. What's changed, man? Congratulations, like I said, ROY. Two
big dubs,
2 big wins.
Yeah.
I didn't calculate all the earnings, but it's probably close to 300,000 this year.
Somewhere in that region.
Somewhere in that. For your very first year on the elite season, you're taking home $300,000. And if and the crazy thing about it is, guys, in 2019, you only fished 3. Yeah, I see 3 opens. You took home 0. So within a few years, your skill level and your ability has taken you to 300,000 from 0. I got a shirt says 0 to hero. And that's what's happened with you, brother.
Yeah. It's it's been a good year. I mean, what can you say? I've been blessed, and I'm gonna hopefully, I want to keep continuing to do well, and I think I will, without a doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. Looking at the schedule next year, they just came out with that. Looks pretty good. I'm going to keep fishing hard and hopefully catching some big old fish. And I got something I want to say real quick. I've got a board in my shop out here where all my fishing stuff is. And something that I think is really important for people that want to achieve their goals is you really need to write those goals down.
Yes.
Put them somewhere. I've got a big whiteboard. I checked off like 6 different things this year. Rookie of the year.
That's awesome.
Get your first win, major win. Whatever they all were, I don't know, but I checked them all off. You can see them every day. It reminds you that you need to go after those things, and you need to constantly be working for them. And
awesome.
You can't just think about it. You need to write it down. And I think that was it. And my dad always told me that since I was a kid growing up. Like he said, Joey, write your goals down. And it's so true. And I think you can achieve those goals if you do that, like 100%. So
that's awesome. A lot of business guys talk about it every day. Write your goals down every day, every morning. If you don't have a whiteboard like Joey's talking about right there, put them in your bathroom. You're always brushing your teeth. You're supposed to brush your teeth for 5 minutes or some mess like that. Read your goals while you're brushing your teeth. I've got a saying from a Christian speaker. Talks about commitment, and he says, I have it at work. I've looked at it every day since I started the basscast.com, and it says commitment. You'll decide your future by determining your level of commitment. Only you will decide how hard you'll work. You will decide how many miles you're willing to drive and how much you are willing to endure. And once you put in the work, it'll all show up. And that's what's happened for you, Joey. So, man, we appreciate you coming on tonight, talking with us, and good luck in 2024. Congratulations again. Is there anyone out there that you'd like to thank, sponsors, family, etc., before we wrap this bad boy up?
Man, I just want to thank most of all my family, that's been, by my side through these, there was a point in my career where I was going to give up fishing legitimately, just because, my wife was quitting her job. Things weren't working out for her and income, and it's very expensive to do. And they stuck with me, been there supporting me through the whole thing. And they're the backbone of everything I do 100%. So just props to the family. And I appreciate the Basscast and what you guys doing and promoting fishing and all this stuff. And I think it's really cool. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Guys, Joey Cifuentes, we'll be right back, everyone. All right, guys, really appreciate Joey coming on and talking with us tonight. ROY. I know I screwed it up. I do it every year. I don't understand why. It's just excitement. 2023 ROY, life changes when you win that. I mean, a lot of anglers out there, and we didn't bring it up during the show part, but a lot of anglers out there say, ROY and Angler of the Year are probably more important than the Bassmaster.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Winning the, the big, the dance, the classic is one of those because it shows you put in the work.
The Bassmaster Classic is the glitz and glam.
It is.
It's the, it's the title, but winning, an ROY or an AOY, that is really, and I'm friends with Kyle Welcher, and that was the first thing I texted him was, "You're the best in the world right now." That's crazy, bro. Congrats.
So I mean, we hope to get him. By the way, guys, if Geek works it all out, don't pressure Geek, but we hope to get him on.
Talk to him today, and so I hope he said he should be down for next Wednesday.
Awesome. So we're gonna get him on. We're gonna break down his season, talk about the PMA again, and talk about Angler of the Year, and even some of the struggles that he went through the last and final event, boat problems, boat issues. He seems, they brought it up, man. He just seems so calm and collective, and maybe we can pick some of that out that might help you while you're out there on the water out of him. But appreciate you guys listening. By the way, guys, we brought it up the last podcast. We'll bring it up again. Podcast is not free. We spent a lot of time working on this podcast. Probably most of it's getting the guests and trying to get it all worked out, like Geek was talking about right there for schedules, and then putting it all together and editing. And we appreciate you guys listening, but we'd like for you to do one thing for us, and that's to head on over and hit the follow button. Whether you listen to a podcast on all your podcasts and networks, hit the download button. So that way, every week when we upload a show, I try to get it up on Thursdays. And then, the YouTube version goes up as well. So whether you watch it or listen, hit the follow button, hit the like button, and we'd love for you to share it as well. But that's the main thing we ask for you guys to do. And leave a comment. What's your thoughts and opinions and all that good stuff. Guys don't do that. I don't know why I even say it. Just hit the button. That's all I did. Take your little finger and go boom. And that's it. And it'll help us move up the rankings, which can help us with sponsors, ads, everything else, so the podcast stays free. And we will always have it free, by the way, guys. But help us out a little bit and hit the follow button. Guys, we'll be on the road. So look forward to seeing you guys out there on the water. Make sure you head on over tonight, tomorrow, anytime, and follow Bass Geek's channel as well. I think I saw 77,000.
No, not yet. You've probably seen 70,077, but we are now over 71,000. We hit
all right, that's what I saw.
71 yesterday, I believe.
71,000 people are watching the Geek Master. And guys, we're going to be doing our goal is next year. We haven't worked it all out yet. The shows are all starting to pop up, but we're hoping we can maybe do a show or two together, some of your smaller events.
Oh, yeah.
And promote the Bass Cast Radio. And you guys can come out and get autographs from Geek, and then you can just look at me.
And, by the way, there is a video just dropped for you listeners yesterday, and it's the #1 key to buzzbait success. Boom. And there might be a giveaway, so get over there. Got to be subscribed. You'll hear the rest of the qualifications in the video.
Have a great night, everyone, and we will be talking to you guys again next week.